The only reason you fail whenever you try and do something different with your life, whenever you try to take a different path in life, is because you've already been set to failure a very long time ago. Is because a safe fail mechanism has been programmed into your mind throughout your entire life, which is meant to activate whenever you think about diverting from your meant cause, whenever you think about even taking a detour from your typical path. And if you're not aware of how that works out, you might not be able to change your life fundamentally to shift from that typical path throughout your entire life. Like everyone else, I grew up believing that a 9 to 5 was the only way to make it, that the only way to make it, the only way to become successful, the only way to enjoy any sort of freedom or control over any aspect of my life is by having a 9 to 5, that a 9 to 5 is the holy grail of all things, that securing a 9 to 5 is the best way to live, is in fact the only way to live, is the best thing to do for yourself, because how else would you live, how else would you enjoy any sort of freedom, how else would you become a reputable person in life? And everything that I experienced growing up, everyone I met, all of the teachings I absorbed was only meant to reinforce this construct, was only meant to reinforce this belief, because that's how governments and people on top are better served. That's how you're more useful to governments and to your society, by believing that. But what I did not know, that it was setting me up for a life of failure. It was setting me up for a life of dependency, of slavery, of subservience, of mental slavery, and simultaneously spatial, financial, time, energy slavery, and all other forms of slavery. Because you cannot be what you don't believe in. You cannot have better results than what you believe in. You cannot create better results than what you believe you're worthy of. And as long as you believe that you're worthy of a 9 to 5, that a 9 to 5 is the only way to make it, that this is the only way to live, that this is the only way to enjoy freedom, then you will always be bound by the freedom that a 9 to 5 offers, that you will always be bound to make a living through a 9 to 5. And especially growing up as a millennial or older than that, we did not really have internet, was not really that big of a thing. There wasn't that social media hype with all of those influencers telling and advising everyone on how it's possible to make a living outside a 9 to 5, how it's possible to even make a living without going to college. I never once doubted it to be a fact. It was out of the question for me to secure a 9 to 5, to have the best grades, to always come out on top, and to have to compete for the best opportunities in a 9 to 5. I never could imagine my life. I never could imagine a life of freedom, of control over my life, over my time, over my space, over my location, over my money, unless I had a 9 to 5. And I did just that. I strive to have the best grades. I strive to always come out on top. I wrote the best essay pretty much since the beginning of high school, since grade 9. I was always on top. I was having the best grades. I was writing the best essays all the way through till I graduated from college. And I graduated with first class honors, and I graduated and I scored the dean's list more than once. And I joined all of those scientific symposiums and workshops and scientific research competitions. And I was always researching, new solutions in my industry, and always ranking among the top, and I was being rewarded for all of this. And that's how they numb you, and that's how I remained numb. It's the dream of a 9 to 5. It's the dream of being someone, of being successful, of knowing the only way to be successful, and that kept me numb. And as you grow older, of course, you secure a 9 to 5 and they pay you well, and that's how you remain numb, and that's how you remain stuck your entire life in a 9 to 5, in a slave mentality, in a very dependent mentality. If that's the thing for you, if that's how you feel more comfortable, more in peace, then be my guest, go all in for it. But if that's not what you want, if you know that there's something deeper calling at you, because everything changed, my entire life changed when I first had my first internship, and being a petroleum engineer and the top of my class, I had an internship in one of the top 5 oil and gas companies in the whole world, one of the grand oil and gas companies. And I knew something was way off the moment I joined it. I knew something was I knew I was very off place, because I had already had my spiritual awakening a while before that. I shifted from, intellectual awakening into a spiritual awakening, and it's been calling deep onto me. Something has been badgering me deep within, to explore life through a different scope, through to something has been calling onto me, explore different paths. Is that really what you want to be doing? Is this life to you? But of course, like everyone else, I kept resisting, because what else am I supposed to do with the past 23 years of my life? Always ranking on top, always coming on top, graduating with first class honors, finding solutions. I always had this persona, that I was very academically focused and industrial focused, and I was, always trying to find, better solutions. I was coming with up with research ideas, and I was writing it, and that's how I presented myself. That was part of my identity. And I was, in high school, I was among the teachers' favorite, and same in university, the professor's favorite, and now I joined them for researchers. But I was also cool, I was like, in high school, I was like smart, cool, not like just that, but really. But as it turns out, I was not much of either, neither smart nor really that cool, because I've been fooled, and and that have set me for a life of suffering. Ever since I joined that internship, and I realized how I feel about it, and I realized that I was way off place, that this could not be what I'm meant for, because something deeper kept calling me to explore a more meaningful life, a more profound life. But of course, I kept resisting, and I started that tug of war. I'm neither aligned with this nor with that, and I remained stuck, neither getting this or that. Because ever since that internship, I was shot out of alignment with a 9 to 5. Yet I persisted in seeking out a 9 to 5, the best 9 to 5, and I never had it. With all of those top rankings, with all of those, first class honors, with all of those best grades and best researches, and all of those rewards, and all of those industrial contributions and workshops and everything, I never secured a 9 to 5. I only had another internship for a few months after I graduated from college, because that first internship was during my second to last year in university, and then once again after I graduated for just a few months, and that was my engineering experience. That was my experience with a 9 to 5, because I was not in alignment. I had already been shot out of alignment, yet I resisted and resisted and resisted, because I did not want to feel that all of those years, all of this effort I exerted for the past, especially 5 years in college, was all for naught, was all just a waste of time. It was not really a waste of time, because I grew more than anything during my college years. I developed mentally, and I had all sorts of awakening and realizations and revelations and miserable experiences and suffering. It all started in uni. It all really, because I moved out, and now I became my own person, and I realized how responsible, and I realized how everything was wrong. It was one of the most evolving experiences in my life. And I would always be just so grateful and so appreciative of that period in my life, with all of the suffering it had gave me, because it was also the most depressive period of my time. But apart from that, it still felt as a waste. I did not want to waste this year's, what I invested in my studies without really giving it a chance. But as it turns out, life had different plans for me, and then I kept, I started this, sharing this. What I realized started to call on to me, and that set the life for the rest of my time. That has drawn a specific path, that has led me to a specific path of suffering, of distress after that moment. That tug of war, neither aligning with this or that has drawn a very specific path to me. And at that time, I started to blame everyone around me, to blame my family, to blame society, to blame teachers, because no one taught me, about how to be financially free. No one taught me, I'd come from an employment mentality type of family, and no one, I was mad. Why couldn't they teach me about how to become an entrepreneur, how to find my financial freedom, how to explore my life through a different scope, how to do this? Why is this the only way? Why did they believe that this is the only way? And this was only pushing me deeper and deeper into victim mentality and into this slave mentality that I was in fact bound by a 9 to 5. It was pushing me deeper, because it was making me seek out a 9 to 5 more and more, because I was feeling helpless. I was putting myself in a victim mentality. And at a specific age that would be fine to do, to blame others or to blame yourself. But after a very specific age, you could do it for just a few days or a few times, and then it becomes meaningless, because you're accountable. You could make a difference. You could do something about it. It's not set in stones. And so this is something to be very aware of, to not fall into that blaming mentality of why I just wish I had a different upbringing. I just wish I was in a different environment. Just wish my society taught me different, my family taught me different, my upbringing taught me different. All of those things, like the people who grew up in business families and entrepreneur mindset type of families, or that progressive, mindset families. It did not matter. It does not matter, because now you have to figure out a way. You've been called on, and that calling is not gonna disappear. And the best way, the best thing, the first step on that path, the first step for you to break from those shackles, to break from that mental slavery, and with that create a different life for yourself, create the life you want, create the life you see, is by being your own master, is by not needing someone to master you, to be your master. And that reminds me of a very lovely quote that stuck with me. I read it a very, very long time ago, but it stuck with me ever since. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's along the lines of, if you don't set your own rules and follow them, keep up with them, then someone else will have to set rules for you, which you will have to follow. It's similar to that. If you don't invest your energy in working for yourself, someone else will take your energy. And if you don't invest your energy in building your own dreams, then someone else will use your energy to build their dreams. And that's what exactly you have to do, because you have to be able to work. You have to find your motivation, although you're not being forced to, although your parents are not forcing you, your university is not forcing you, your studies, your school, nothing is forcing you. You have to find that motivation, and you have to be able to prove to yourself that I can work, that I can put effort, that I can make that change. That's the very first step in order to break free from a 9-to-5 mentality, from that slave mentality, and become your own master your reality, become your own being. Have that freedom without depending on someone or something to give it for you. And that is by you being that freedom, is by you setting something for yourself and doing it. Is for you to actually tell yourself, whether, if it does not really matter if you set goals for yourself and start working on them, start working towards them through enjoyment, through passion, through loving them, or through actually applying discipline. But I would prefer, like, if you know me, I would prefer to go for something that you really are passionate about, for something that you love. That I would recommend this any time of the day, every day, because as long as even if you go for something that you don't like because you believe it promises, better goals, or it has a better rate at success, or it promises you more of what you want, it's also prone to fail. It could also still fail. So, you better just go to whatever you like from the get on, from the beginning, because anything could fail. Even if you choose something because you believe it has a better rate of success, or it could give you what you really want, although you don't like it, you're not emotionally connected yet, you don't care about it, you don't want to be doing it, but you're gonna discipline yourself and force yourself to do it, it could still fail. And I've had many of those experiences. Trust me on this. Really trust me on this. I've had a business. I started a business and I learned a skill. All were things that I didn't want, and I really disciplined myself, and I really sacrificed through so much, and I went with sleepless nights to have the results I wanted with them, but it did not happen. It just failed, and I had to close off that business. I have to let go of that skill I learned. My only other experience with a 9-to-5 was as a flight attendant, which is not really a 9-to-5. It was, although there is an organizational structure and a very, strict company and this and that, but you never really had to deal with any of that. You would just, go, your workspace was the aircraft, and it was really a fun experience. It was really a more profound experience than a regular 9-to-5, and it did not have any redundancy, any routine aspect to it. But the other times I was just, exploring different things. I was trying to do different things, whether online or in real life. I built a business and it failed, and I learned a skill and it failed, and I tried to apply it and it failed more than once. So you better just go for what you believe in, for what you really love. But all that matters is that you say that you do something, is that you prove to yourself that you can work without any forces, without anything pushing you, without anything forcing you. Because if you don't set rules for yourself and you follow them and you stick to them, then someone else will have to set rules for you. If you don't discipline yourself, in other words, someone else will have to discipline you. And then you will have to be following others. You are stuck in that. We are stuck by nature in that mentality that someone is driving us, someone is telling us to do that, someone has been leading us our entire lives. And as you come out of that, when you're first starting, starting your life, you're still used to that. Someone has to lead me, someone has to tell me to do this, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a parent, whether it's a society, whether it's this or that, because someone has been leading you your entire life. And once you prove this, then you set the path for the rest of your life. Then you draw a different path, you start drawing a different path. The next thing is to start challenging yourself, is to do things that you're not comfortable with, your body is not comfortable with, in other words, because it's to venture into the unknown, in other words, better said. Because your body, whatever your body has been used to, is still feeding into the 9-to-5 construct, into the 9-to-5 mentality, into that slave mentality. And so anything that feels uncomfortable to you at that very first stage is getting you out of your comfort zone, is getting you out of that path that's been set in stone for you. And so that's a very important thing. That's the next thing that you should do. Keep challenging yourself. Get yourself out of that routine. Go and explore different things. Go and travel on your own. Do things that you don't like. Go out in nature. Go out to weird places. Go explore different parts of your city. Go explore different states in your country, different provinces in your country, whatever. Go for something good. Do something that challenges you. Do something that gets you out of the familiar. Do something that gets you into the unknown. Because then you explore, you open more and more paths. The more you're vibrating on me being a challenge taker, on me being a risk taker, on me being an unknown taker, of someone who's going into the unfamiliar, venturing into the unknown, the more unknown aspects there's gonna be in your life, the more unknown opportunities life is gonna present you with. But as long as everything is routine, as long as you know everything that you're doing, as long as you're doing the same exact thing every day, day in and day out, then you'll just be getting back what you've been getting your entire life. So it does not really matter what is it. It's just that you get yourself out of what you've been used to. And set rules for yourself. Become your own master. Prove to life, prove to yourself, vibrate on becoming your own master. Master your reality. Don't let your brain drive you. Don't let your minds, your thoughts, your emotions function from that higher awareness, function from that higher state of being, through your higher self. You are existing and you're witnessing everything that you are experiencing. You're witnessing your thoughts, you're witnessing your reactions, your actions, your emotions, and you can still see them from outside as if they are not yours. So function from that being who's free regardless of anything. The only reason you would be, desperate or afraid to do this or that, or you don't want to work on that, or you don't feel motivated, is because you believe that you cannot make it. Is because you're afraid of how it might turn out. Is because you're a people pleaser and you care about how it's gonna turn out, and you want it to be as perfect as possible. You care about so many things, but once you tune into your true power, nothing could hold you back. Once you empower yourself, life is gonna empower you. Empower yourself for life to empower you. The only way to tune into your real power is by being that, is by finding a way, is by being your own master, is by being your own self, is by being you regardless of anything external. Follow your heart. Don't be afraid of following your heart. Don't think that that's the only way, or this is the only way, or I have to go for this, or I have to go for that, or that person told me to do this specific thing. Just be you. Know that you can make anything work. It's not that we wait for life to give us something that works. Is that we go into something. When you go into something, knowing your own value, detaching from the outcome, detaching, your self-worth from any outcome, knowing that you are worthy, you are valuable, you are lovable regardless of any outcome, regardless of anything external. You could go into anything and make it happen, make it work. So don't bother what is it or when is it. Just do whatever you want to do. But do something and believe in it and believe in yourself. And detach from the outcome. Don't wait for life to present you with that golden opportunity. We create golden opportunities. You are presented with golden opportunities in each and every experience you go through. If you decide to make it that one, it could be your breakthrough experience. It could be that shift you've been waiting on for very long. Any experience could be that thing. It's not that we are waiting for that, it's that you have to become that. You have to vibrate on that, and you have to be you have to vibrate on freedom. You have to align with freedom. You have to become the master of your reality and function from that higher state, which knows that you're okay, that everything is alright, that you're gonna be alright regardless of anything. Thank you so much for tuning into another video by AF's Conscious Frequency. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.